things that never stops being deeply cringe to me as a journalist who covers far-right extremism are the people who actually subscribe to these ideologies. And they're like white nationalist meetups. Because yes, they genuinely hold them. In fact, there's one happening in the lower mainland of BC this weekend. Massive shout out to the journalist Christy Somos for the tip about this, because now I get to mock them for the next 5 minutes. Yes, this is one of them. And here's another. While simultaneously filling you in on this very real problem. Now, I should start off by saying that this is a very pathetic event, because their two main stars, if you can call them that, didn't get through the border. Well, one was stopped. The other was too scared to try. And it's so funny how badly these guys want to be victims. The planners of the event posted about how after witnessing the, quote, disgraceful treatment of the golden one. Sorry. Yeah, that's literally what he calls himself. And I need you guys to know that I Googled this guy and I found this video.
The question at hand is, can you be short and alpha?
These are their heroes. Anyways, after the golden one was stopped at the border, the other speaker, Paul, sorry, the golden one and Paul? I'm getting distracted, but this is Paul. And the organizers said he decided, quote, not to risk attempting entry himself, knowing he would certainly face similar treatment from Canadian authorities hell-bent on restricting free speech and association. So he was scared. Now, before I laugh about these guys too much, I do need to acknowledge that the hate underpinning the event is very real and genuinely concerning. I reached out to Elizabeth Simons from the Canadian Anti-Hate Network, who are basically the top experts in Canada when it comes to far-right extremism and hate, and she told me this, quote, it's clear from some of the planned speakers and the social media channels marketing the conference that this event is intended for white nationalists and neo-Nazis. Content on these social media accounts include neo-Nazi imagery and symbols. Their goals appear to include networking and movement building to advance a fascist, anti-democratic, and exclusionary worldview couched in how they perceive history and philosophy. So yeah, the event is bad. On top of that, you know the fascist fight clubs that I've reported on for ages and that CBC recently finally covered too? Well, they're boosting this event. Like, this is the event being promoted by an active club that took credit for this mass deportations now demonstration in Hamilton. Diagolon leader Jeremy McKenzie, whose group is tied to the active club Second Sons, said our guys will be there making friends. Before adding the line, Canada is our home, everyone else is simply a guest. I didn't know he was Indigenous. Oh, he's not, yeah. Another prominent member of Diagolon, Alex Brand, who we know is a member of the active club Second Sons because they post photos of him without his face blurred all the time, has also been promoting the event. So if you're around Vancouver, heads up. Though it's unclear exactly where this is happening, because they usually keep the venues for this kind of thing a secret until it's game day. And in this case, it showcases how these dudes couldn't organize their way out of a paper bag, because they told people to be prepared to travel anywhere within the lower mainland, including Mission and Abbotsford. Those are like between an hour and 30 minutes away from downtown Vancouver. Super well organized, guys. So basically, we've got this white nationalist event taking place, already cringe. Their main stars can't make it in person. Embarrassing. And people have to drive up to an hour and 30 minutes day of to make it to this thing. If this is how they organize one measly racist conference, how are they gonna organize a whole racist uprising? Honestly though, the thing that makes me cringe at these guys more than anything is that this is an ideology based on fear and insecurity. Fear of others and fear of their own inadequacy. Because if they realize that the privilege they have for being born white doesn't mean they're actually better than anyone else, then what do they have left? Yeah, you're just a weird little tomato-faced dude who's a little too obsessed with Nordic symbols. And they're so dramatic about it too. Like, listen to how the organizers of this conference talk. The first task is to reconquer space, both physical and symbolic. Only by reestablishing clear boundaries and protecting sacred ground can the complementary center return, allowing the real work of authentic cultural and spiritual life to reemerge for European peoples. You can't tell me dude wasn't wearing a Spirit Halloween Viking costume and sporting a half chub while he wrote that. Anyway, right now this conference is still set to go ahead, and I'm sure it's going to be as cringe as it is hateful. What do you think of all this?